Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a reading for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And there's an Ace of Wands. Very strong, bright, energetic card to begin the reading. We're going to put that into some context with the Dove and Serpent spread. And as I do this, I would also like to say if there's anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right, finishing up real quick here. Path of the Serpent. Wow. This is a lot of good cards here. Yeah, this is really, it's kind of strange, actually. Let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Going to use the Waitsmith for this one. And we're just going to set it down, put the frog on top, and set it aside. We're not going to look at that card until the very end of the reading, and hopefully it will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need, especially looking at all of this energy. This is really wild. We've got major, major, major. We've got water, earth, air, and fire. We've got water and water over here. We've got this earth court card up here, this Queen of Pentacles, which is very interesting. This is kind of some strange stuff. It seems like a very strong force in your life right now. And the fact that we have two aces even is also a little strange. The first one is this Ace of Wands. I feel like very soon you're going to get this surge of creative energy. I think you are really entering probably the most productive / creative period of your life, okay? With the Ace of Wands here, this is that surge of energy, that surge of creativity, the inspiration to start doing amazing, unbelievable things. The sky really is the limit. Oh, we have the Ace of Cups too. We have got almost all of the aces right now. I wonder if the mystery card is going to be the final ace. So this really feels like you're about to step into a really productive, really intense period of your life. This is really strange. And not only that, but we have the two cards that we seem to always get for Capricorn, the Hermit and the Chariot. I feel like there is definitely a Cancer person in your life. The Chariot card's in the position of your relationships or your environment. We have all these aces. This is kind of strange. But I feel like you need to really prepare yourself for this surge of energy. It's going to be really an intense visitation of energy, to quote Jim Morrison there. And I feel like it's going to have such terrific implications for you. It really is this surge of energy, this health. It's almost like, you feel like you're, 20 years old again, and you have that kind of vitality, that kind of energy. You have all those good ideas that just keep coming. You have a million projects that you just feel so excited to start. And then you also have the energy to focus that, right? The Ace of Wands by itself is not really enough. We have to have some of these other energies to kind of tie everything together, to give everything a focus, give everything a purpose. Not only do we have these three aces, but you've got these two sixes, discs, and cups. So I feel like we have this really strong, active energy, this vital energy to go out and do all sorts of things, right? The two aces are very active cards. This is the root of all action, the root of all thought, the root of all action, right? And those are the two things that you need. You need the inspiration, you need the planning, but then you have to execute. So we need the earth energy here too. And we have a lot of terrific earth energy on the middle pillar here of the path of the dove. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and this nice Hermit energy down here, which is earth energy. So I feel like you have all of the magical ingredients for a real nice time, okay? Like a really special, I don't know, maybe the next year of your life. With these three aces, maybe the next 3 years of your life will be just a surge, a rush of this creative, vital energy. This real ambition, this real enthusiasm, a real love, a real clarity. It really is something magical here. I like that we have the Six of Discs right away, because this is finding an immediate expression. If you watch this channel, you know what I like to say about fire and earth together, right? Usually we'll get like the Four of Wands, and we'll talk about how we're taking our creative energy, our fire, our spiritual fire, our confidence, our ambition, and we are giving it temporary form, right? We're building almost a little campfire, a ring of stones in which to manifest that fire energy, right? So we'll go and we'll gather all the components that we need, the little stones from around the campsite. We'll put them in a circle, right? We'll organize them. And then we'll do our work right there in the middle of it. And that fire will grow, and that'll be our campfire for the night, for the week, give or take a few days. It's a temporary thing, but it is, and that's kind of the purpose of the Four of Wands, which we don't have now. What we have instead is the Ace of Wands and the Six of Discs. If you look at these two cards, this is that campfire analogy, but taken to a completely different level, right? I mean, it's gone octaves above that Four of Wands. So now we're taking that real spiritual fire, the core, the very beginning of it, right? The source energy. And we're manifesting it in such a way that it may still be temporary, but it sure doesn't feel like it, right? Feels like this is kind of a permanent hearth that we're building, right? So rather than the campfire analogy, maybe this is more of the semi-permanent fireplace, the hearth, the central fire of your life. And that, I think, is something really tremendous for you. And because I think that you've been looking for that central fire, right? You've been looking for that hearth in your life. You've been looking for that sense of home, of safety, of the home base, from which you can act and within which you can really stoke the fire of your creativity, like where you're free to be you. Excuse me, frog in my throat here. Where you're free to be creative, you're free to be yourself, you're free to explore all of these ideas and inspirations. So I feel like this is really you finding that or building that, creating that for yourself, that kind of safe space, right? Your own workshop kind of thing, right? Maybe literally, maybe you're finding a new home, maybe you are dedicating a place in your current home where you can focus on your work, your creativity. An office, a workshop, something like that, Excuse me again. I apologize. I've had this throat and chest issue for a while now. I think it's some of the COVID stuff lingering over. That was months ago, but I feel like it's still affecting me, Anyway, maybe just too much heat from this fire here. So the Six of Pentacles is the collection of the stones for the campfire, the organization, right, in our life that is conducive to this fire energy. But in this case, this is more like that fireplace. So now we're not collecting stones that we'll put back at the end. We're collecting like these bricks, like the masonry, right? And we're putting them together. We're solidifying this fireplace with, the concrete, with the fire bricks. It's semi-permanent now. It's not something that we're going to dismantle at the end of the camping trip. So this is more of a home, more of a business, something that is lasting that you're building, right? It could be a company that you're building, could be a literal home that you're building, a section of your home that you're dedicating to your work. It could be the organization and the real kind of sealing the deal on some contracts, negotiations, agreements between people, right? Hiring the right team, getting people signed under contract, something like that, right? Where it's a more permanent structure, right? It's not just like a temporary, a day or two, and then we'll all just kind of disperse. No, this is something that we're all kind of committing to this, and it could be related to this Cancer person. I think this Chariot or this Cancer energy is related here somehow. I don't know if you have a Cancer person very close to you. I don't know if perhaps the work that you do or this fireplace kind of thing that we're building is in some way related to this Chariot symbolism. Okay. It could be related to the Cancer symbolism, seafood, shellfish, right? The crab, something like that. Could be related to travel or transportation or some kind of chariot symbolism. Something along those lines. This is really coming at a very important time in your life. Recently, 5 of Cups. There's been some challenges in your life, sure. I think that you have had many of your drinks spilled on you, right? I think that you were trying to enjoy yourself, you were living your life, and there were just situations, people, places, events. My cat's scratching at the door again. That's a good sign. I know she's been kind of down here a lot, getting into the studio. I'm sure my wife will let her in a minute here. If she doesn't, I'll get up and go get her. I feel like you were trying to live your best life, but circumstances kept kind of spilling the drink on you. You know what I mean? It just kind of ruins the party. You've got to go change. So I feel like that's kind of the history for a while. Maybe the last few months have seemed like that. You have really been optimistic. You've been trying to maintain your cheerful attitude, your optimism, and you're doing a good job kind of recovering from these events, these spilled drinks, let's say. And I really think in large part that's due to you embracing your earth nature, that earthy aspect of Capricorn, because you are the cardinal earth sign, right? You are someone who can really take all of this fire. I mean, just looking at the middle pillar of our path of the dove here, it really is representing the Capricorn energy because it's all earth with the fire inside, right? This is kind of an example of a manifested cardinal earth energy. This configuration is really, really something special here. And I feel like the way you're able to have this kind of success and build what you're building and do what you're doing, embrace what's coming in the very near future, I think, is by relying on your earth energy and not sacrificing that fire energy, right? All of these kind of maybe disappointments, this kind of seems like bad luck in the last few months, all these spilled drinks, right, on your clothes, hasn't deterred you from this fire energy. It hasn't done anything to dampen or extinguish that fire energy, right? You're still just as confident, just as hopeful. It is just like, it doesn't faze you at all when these things happen. You keep, then you go change, you go back to the party, right? And you have a good time still. So it's not really affecting that, but it does seem like maybe it's been a pattern lately. Okay. We've been falling back on our hermit energy. Now, the hermit is your ability to protect your fire energy, your lamp, your insight, your spiritual connection, your creativity, your confidence, whatever you want to call it. Protecting that or safeguarding that, even in the midst of all of the kind of crazy activity of life. Even in the middle of a crowded room, you can still feel like you are tranquil and serene, like you're still in that meditative state, even in the busiest of parties or whatever. So this is someone who can still be alone in a crowded room, but in a good way, right? In a good way. In a way that keeps you somewhat separated. You're in the world, but maybe you're not of the world, right? It's not, things aren't affecting you like they once would, because you have this very protective hermit energy. You have this cloak of almost an invisibility cloak, kind of, right? It's kind of a Harry Potter kind of deal. Not that I'm a big fan or anything. But anyway, it's this ability to be in the world, but just kind of move around somewhat unseen in the world, So you're able to kind of be still and be calm and observe and take everything in and be introspective and get in touch with your light and your lamp. And this really sets you apart from everybody. So the people who really know you are probably quite intrigued by you, quite enthralled, really, at your ability to, maintain your composure, perhaps, when there's all this kind of craziness going on. You're still able to almost seem like you're in a different world, right? And maybe you are to a small degree. But it's this real skill that you have to do this. And I'm not sure even quite how to explain it. But it does feel like you almost put on this cloak, and suddenly you're just blending in with people. You're just kind of anonymous, and things don't really affect you. The water doesn't get you wet, right? The fire doesn't burn you. No one can really see you. It's like the royalty that might dress in common clothes to go out and experience the everyday life of us, normal people. And I feel like that's kind of a hermit thing for you. And I think it's something that you fall back on when things start to get a little uncertain. And when we're in this kind of Five of Cups pattern, there's this seems to keep happening. So then we put on our cloak, and suddenly now those drinks are just kind of rolling off of our cloak, right? They're not spilling on our nice party clothes. Now we've got our cloak on here, our raincoat, and it doesn't affect us, right? I think this is a good skill that you have. Honestly, it's very effective. And it kind of brings us to this Queen of Pentacles energy. I think especially upon the arrival of this energy as it comes into your life, and as we start building this semi-permanent fireplace for it, right? It really is going to bring you a level of confidence, a level of control, and a level of responsibility that perhaps you've never had before, a level of security, a level of stability that you've never experienced, okay? Maybe something that you've been working toward, I think, is now arriving, okay? This card's at the top of the path of the dove. So I think this is something that you've always wanted, and I feel like it's through this creative energy that you're able to now build this for yourself, okay? Whatever it might be. If it's a business, if it is, finally getting all the components of this business together, and it starts really turning a profit and making money and doing really well. Or if this is finding your forever home, finding the perfect relationship, the perfect family life, like it's everything kind of coming together to create this stability around you. But this stability comes from yourself. Now, I don't want to give the impression that it's only through external things, it's only through other people that we find stability. No, you're stable in yourself. With this hermit energy, this is a real inner stability that you are now with this fireplace That was interesting. With that fireplace kind of analogy, you're creating this stability that is external also. So this card just kind of flew away from the central fire here. Maybe the more we get into this energy, the further away we get from this Hermit card. This Hermit card kind of shot down to the bottom here, almost fell off the table. And that tells me that maybe you're going to rely less and less on this kind of cloak of invisibility, right? Maybe we're kind of phasing out of that, or that's just going to be a skill that we keep in our back pocket when we need it. But we're going to be very much focused on this more extroverted, external manifestation of this wonderful energy. Now, the other card is the Ace of Swords here. This is kind of what's in front of you. This is the sword of truth. This is the sword of discernment. This is the sword that facing upright like this is indicating a real enlightenment, a real connection with spirit. It's a crown chakra activation, right? This is the kind of energy that's really going to blow your mind, right? The pun very much intended there, because this is the, I think this is the highest conceivable success for you. This is the highest conceivable clarity, stability, safety, security, creativity, right? This is kind of what it's all been about for you. And going forward, you're going to realize that more and more. It may come in a flash of insight or enlightenment or realization. It may be a more gradual thing. Now, this sword, we can also point it downward if we want. It's up to you. This is you're holding it. You can hold it any which way. Pointed downward like this. This is the sword of discernment and the sword of analysis, the sword of cutting out of our lives those things that are not contributing to this central pillar that we're on, right? This is maybe even cutting ourselves off from those Five of Cups. You know, if these parties that we go to are, you know, in theory, like the, you know, virtual or as a metaphor, if these activities that we participate in are just constantly spilling their drinks on us, what's the point? You know what I mean? If we're not enjoying it, if it's just kind of a burden to us, and if it takes more out of us than we experience joy or pleasure from it, or any kind of, if we don't take any pleasure in these things, why are we doing them? You know? And this goes with anything: people, places, things, your pets, your plants. Whatever is in your life, we need to take a look at it. You know? So before you really do anything, I think you need to assess what you have, what is around you, what are your connections, what are those activities that you're doing. You know, take a real stock of your life, and with that analysis, right? We're picking things apart and seeing what are the value of these things. So the Ace of Swords is a really important card, and it is it's showing the way forward. And what is in front of us, you know, from this point is just, I mean, this is mind-blowing itself with these energies. But the first thing that we really have to do is we have to become aware of this enlightenment, of this kind of crown chakra activation, this connection with source, with spirit, and the way that we're building this, and the true implications of this energy and this manifestation on this central pillar. And then we have to also take stock of our life and the things that we're doing, the people that we're involved with, and, you know, what can we trim? Can we streamline things a little bit? Can we trim the fat off of our life? Can we be a little bit more economical with our energy? Because there's a lot of energy coming. There's a lot of activity coming. The universe is really expecting a lot from you. So we have to make sure that we're not really carrying any extra weight or baggage with us, right? We're traveling light going forward. I like the way that sounds. We're traveling light. We are light that travels, right? Anyway, the next card is this Six of Cups. This is your general energy moving forward. This is a real harmony and love. This is like walking around in that Zen-like state almost perpetually, right? Almost 24/7, you're in this really joyful, blissful state. And I think that's the bliss that is kind of the byproduct of this enlightenment, right? Everyone talks about enlightenment as being the experience of this intense bliss. Yes, that may be how you experience this Ace of Swords, this clarity, this realization, this new awareness, this the incoming spiritual energy, the awareness of truth, the discernment. It may be experienced as an intense bliss. I think the bliss is like the afterglow, you know? I think the Six of Cups is that afterglow. And this is really probably going to extend in your life a few months. You know, it's going to just be this real elation. It's like you're just going to have a little bit of a smile on your face, and people are going to say, "Why are you smiling?" You know, it's raining, it's storming, things are not that great. Why are you so happy? Why are you smiling? And there is this inner joy that you experience that comes from all of this activity on the central pillar, comes from this Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands here, and we have this Six of Pentacles and the Six of Cups, right? So this is a real ease and harmony and love in whatever this fireplace is, whatever you have built, right? As a home for your creativity. Things are just going to be running smoothly, and it's going to have such a joy to it. Just being near this fireplace is going to bring you such joy, right? You're going to leave the house to go do daily chores and errands and stuff, and you're just going to have this fondness about you because of this fireplace this metaphor, you know. Maybe a literal fireplace. I know I get that feeling around fireplaces too. I love fireplaces. I know they're not all that environmentally friendly anymore, are they? Well, we don't have one here, but anyway, I would love one. The point is the love and the connectedness that you feel, and I think that you're going to be experiencing this out in the world, again, with other people and through your relationships, a real sense of abundance and joy, right? That kind of a deeper connection, not just a superficial connection, but a real appreciation, like my light appreciates your light, you know? My Three of Cups, my abundance of love and joy and beauty and bliss appreciates your Three of Cups, right? And together, that's the Six of Cups. This is like a harmony with the world, with society, with people, with strangers and acquaintances, and our close relationships. And our close relationships happen to be of this Chariot or Cancer variety. Now, again, I don't know if this is someone very close to you, a partner, a business partner, a sibling, a friend, but it could be someone very, very close, Cancer energy. The Cancer or Chariot symbolism may be involved in this fireplace that you're building, okay? In some way. Maybe the symbolism is the connection there. But I feel like this is really you ready to travel, ready to make progress. Now, maybe literal travel. Maybe you're going to be traveling around the world. I don't know. But this is your readiness to move forward with this, right? We're not getting kind of stuck in this feeling and just being so overwhelmed by the joy and beauty of it that we're not going to continue to grow and make progress. We're ready to kind of take this light and keep progressing, keep moving forward. It's kind of, have bliss, will travel kind of thing. And this is a lot of forward movement. It's growth. It's leading us to this Ace of Cups, okay? And that comes by way of this Lust or Strength card. Now, these two cards here are very interesting because on the one hand, we have a Chariot, very structured, very organized, kind of by the book. It's very It's very refined. It's very structured, like I said, and it's, it's precise, right? It's thoughtful. It has the organization, it has somebody kind of leading, driving the chariot. It's got the charioteer. It's very, very organized, right? On the other hand, we have this lust or strength card. This is just a wild stallion, not a reference to Bill and Ted's. This is the passionate, uncontrolled, unrefined, right? This is Confucianism, this is Taoism, right? And these are the two modes that I think you're going to have to embrace. You're going to have to be making progress in that structured, orderly, polite, kind of Confucian way, very wise, trying to always refine your rapture, your bliss, and give it some structure and some organization. At the same time, you need this kind of wild stallion. This is unrefined. This is unbridled passion and progress. This is just complete wildness. It is spontaneity. It is not trying to refine every movement. It is kind of the difference between ballet or something that's very formal, very kind of classical, and very kind of rigid in the precision of it. I don't know too much about it. Versus just like wild, spontaneous, dancing when you're alone, right? So you could see the difference there between these two. But both of them are means of locomotion, right? You can either ride the wild beast, or you could ride the very, very precisely machined chariot. It's built to precise specifications in the factory. Everyone looks exactly the same. It is, by the book. It's according to the blueprint. It is built off of the very well thought out schematics. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very precise. So these are the two different energies, but they're both here. They're both in your life. And I think we may have a tendency to be a little bit more Confucian, a little bit more structured and organized and formal and refined, So this card is in the position of what we don't want, because maybe we have a little bit of a difficulty really just letting loose and going wild and just kind of, jumping on that wild kind of unbroken horse, so to speak. I don't know why they say broken and unbroken, but this is choosing to embrace that kind of wild and unrefined part of ourselves, right? That spontaneous, Taoist kind of vibe, And both of these together, I think, at least overcoming a little bit of this rigid nature and a little bit of our kind of wild, unrefined. It's the uncarved block of Taoism, right? It's a piece of wood that is just natural. I found this beautiful piece of wood, and this is amazing. And it's beautiful, and I love it how it is. Versus the chariot, which finds a piece of wood and says, okay, I need to get my knife, I need to carve it so it's square, I need to measure the angles, I need to polish it, sand it, stain it, and then it's beautiful, then it's perfect, right? So we need to overcome a little bit of that by embracing this lust or strength energy. And then the end, Ace of Cups. Mind blown, heart blown. Don't need to say much about this. I know this video is already getting long. This is the ultimate of success, right? This is that holy grail that we can either find through our questing knight chariot kind of thing, or that we can discover in our wild, haphazard, kind of no rules, no boundaries kind of energy, or a mixture of both, right? And this is the ultimate of success and love. This is the bliss that is everlasting, right? This is the this is the cup that would go right in the center of that Six of Cups. This is the beginning of the rest of your life, really. This is this is an unlimited future. This is again, a bliss that is everlasting. And I think this is just amazing. There's not much more that needs to be said about this. It's kind of the goal. It's the finish line. It is what we are after. That card just radiates bliss. It radiates life and love and joy and prosperity and fruitfulness, a real abundance, right? And I think this is probably the most intense reading that we've had for Capricorn, or for maybe any of the signs, honestly. But let's look at the mystery card here before we really take up all of your time. I don't know what we need here, either another ace or another 6. That's all I'm going to say. No, we've got a Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. And maybe that's good, because we need you to be the one who wields the sword, right? We talked about that. You're the Queen of Swords. You're the royalty who has possession of this sword. Now, since it is a Queen of Swords, it's the water energy. That's very important. So with this enlightenment, this connection with spirit and source, this kind of divine commandment straight from the divine right into you, this direct line of communication, and the power of discernment and analysis and cutting things out of our life, we have to do so with this water energy as our source, as our starting point, as our mirror, as our softness, as our compassion, right? So this isn't about being weak or about, failing to do the difficult tasks with this sword, but it's always doing it from a place of love and compassion, right? A generous spirit, a generous emotion. So it's by keeping this water energy in mind or in heart, maybe in mind, right? Because of the swords. That is how you're going to be the most adept at using this Ace of Swords, right? By keeping that water energy as your foundational motivation, really. And that's, I think, really what makes like a just and benevolent, ruler, like a royalty here, is by embracing this water energy and doing everything that you do from a place of love. That's the message. Okay. We're going to do an extended. We'll try to make it short. Click on the link right here. And you can have access to all of the extended readings, not just for Capricorn, but for all of the signs. So you can watch all of your other placements. Watch your sun, your moon, your rising. Watch your Venus, your Mars. Watch your Mercury. Cross watch if you want, but it's all there for you, and I appreciate you. I'm thankful that you're here. I hope you'll leave me some comments. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.